Hey guys, hope all is well. Hope everybody's healthy and safe. Today we're going to be going over the oxymoron in Romeo and Juliet. You have the notes here. I'm going to be going over those notes and what you have to do. Many of you know already, but an oxymoron is a figure of speech containing an apparent contradiction. Popular, simple one is jumbo shrimp. Is an often cited example because jumbo means large and shrimp often means small. Of course, we know that shrimp also means sea creature, so a large sea creature. Large size sea creature is really what's happening here. But when you have an apparent contradiction bound up in the term or what someone's saying, it's called the oxymoron. The plural is oxymora for you Latin students. I believe this is an oxymoron is a neuter noun in Latin, so it has that strange plural. So it's an oxymora is the plural. There's some funny examples here. They're not killer, but they definitely cover a lot of those different funny ways to express something that has an apparent contradiction bound within its meaning. So in Romeo and Juliet, why is it so important? Why are we going over it now? It's a lot in Romeo and Juliet because it's a story of inner conflict. It's a story of mixed feelings. It's a story of love and hatred and war and love and all those things. So in Romeo and Juliet, in the following quotation, Juliet has just learned that Romeo murdered her cousin Tybalt. She's venting her feelings of anger at her lover for hurting her family. And actually, it's not only her lover, but her husband. She says, beautiful tyrant, fiend angelical. When Juliet refers to Romeo as this, she's expressing an oxymoron because the acts of a tyrant will rarely be referred to as beautiful. Also notice the fiend angelical. A fiend is someone who does something awful, and an angel is the exact opposite. So he's an angelical fiend. So it's just really as simple as that, but there are so much that really exploring the text in those is really super important. Shakespeare used a lot of oxymoron in this text because, like I mentioned, it is a text that is filled with these contradictions, and talking about the specifics of those contradictions are really what he's trying to get to. So here's your job: you need to find two oxymoron in the text, copy them, and provide the page numbers. There's a couple hints and where there's some, plenty out there from all different speakers. You want to explain what's happening in the play at that point. You want to explain the paradoxical meaning of the oxymoron and the effect of the contradiction on the meaning of the text. Then you are going to have a wrap-up question where you explain why are there so many oxymora in Romeo and Juliet, and beyond what I've said, think about the real action of the play and what's happening. Why is there so much conflict? What are those conflicts that are happening in the story where something is both wonderful and awful at the same moment? So here's an example of what I just went over, those questions. There's my example once again. Please don't use this one. Here's where I explain the context. Here's where I explain the nature of the oxymoron. And then, of course, why this is important to the story, which is the thing we always want to get to. It's great that you could show an oxymoron or understand what an oxymoron is, but really it's super important to be able to understand how that creates meaning. So that's the reason we do all this stuff. That's why there's an oxymoron. That's why there's metaphor. That's why all these terms that English teachers love to throw around, because they help you create meaning. So that's what you want to explain here for both examples. Then at the end, of course, I want you to answer this wrap-up question. Why are there so many oxymoron in Romeo? What is it saying about this world of the play? What kind of place is this like, where these things happen or people are shoved into these very difficult situations? All right, so do your best. It shouldn't take you too long. Take the time you need. We're going to be moving on with the play, hopefully finishing it up soon. And thinking about the next thing that we're doing. So it was a pleasure, and I hope to see you guys soon. Have a great day.